Little numbers show here. We've had the entire first quarter close out. Hope everybody's enjoying Easter weekend. Quarter one is when you're looking at numbers and data, it's the slowest quarter of the year for real estate. Transactions and pendings and new listings for sure. Most of these are at their quarterly lows for the year. Often why, even prices are at their lows. The shoppers, I say this every year, the shoppers who were shopping in November and December, closing in January and February, like, wow, January, February, those prices are lower than what they were in the summer, and they'll be lower than what these prices were this summer. And this summer's prices will be higher than last summer, meaning the middle of the winter was the time to get the best deal. Say it every single year. The data's super clear. You go back 25 years. And the most expensive time to buy a home, it's right now in a 12-month cycle. But Brian, don't worry, don't fret. The gravitational pull of life, of decades of people say, I need to buy a house in April and May. The buyers are going to buy the most homes right now. It's when the most competition will be. It's why the sellers have the biggest advantage right now. Sellers are in a really good position. And so the data right now for the last 3 quarters, we're going to go over that. If we just look nationally before we zoom in here locally, national home prices are basically moving sideways. Okay, so Case-Shiller just came out. You had about a 0.9% increase on single family home prices. Okay, so national home prices relatively just flat. And that's on the entire country. There's going to be different pockets and different scenarios, but home prices across the U.S. on single family are flat. Okay, here in Connecticut, if we take a rolling 12, and that's on a rolling 12 months. So if we just look at a rolling 12, from the end of the first quarter last year to the end of the first quarter this year, so April 1st of last year to the end of March this year, single-family homes, according to the Connecticut MLS, are up 5.7% on median sale price and 7.7% on average sale price. The average sale price comes in at $674,000 on a rolling 12 months, highest ever. And the median sale price comes in at $465,000. That's been moving flat since December. And that's a rolling 12. And so I mentioned here earlier, I said, if you look at, February or January, those are going to be the best times to close because you were shopping in November and December. All right, the lowest month right now on median sale price in the month of February, single family homes sold at a median of $421,000. Now, I just said the median for the last 12 months cumulatively was $465,000. Well, in just February, the median was $421,000. Okay, so there was better opportunity on price, and the average in February was $605,000 off of the $675,000. Okay, if we just look at this last month now, the average in March shot up to $693,000, well above the running 12-month number of $674,000. Meaning, when buyers are closing this year in July, they're going to be closing well past at this run rate because it goes up through July every year. They're going to be averaging well past the $727,000 that we averaged in the month of July last year. This number is going to get up over $750 this year because the price every day between now and the 4th of July goes up on real estate. Particularly, and that's every year. Okay, even in down markets, the price moves up in the spring. But particularly this year, when Connecticut now, and this number, surprisingly, Chaz, didn't improve in March, 1.6 months of inventory.
It's been flat since January we were 1.7, February 1.6, March 1.6. But you know what is interesting, I did see, is our if you're looking at it on a monthly basis, our days on market is actually up even though we have less homes for sale. We're sitting at 18
Well,
days median on market.
we're sitting at 18 days. That's actually down a day from February. February was 19 days. Okay.
That's still pretty darn fast. The houses are selling in
Yeah.
18 days,
days.
right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's crazy. I mean, days on market right now is crazy.
And if you look at the rolling 12 for months of supply, you can go back to March of 2025, and this is for single family homes, months of supply on a rolling 12. From March of 2025 to March of 2026, we have been at 2.3 months of supply every single month.
Yeah. I mean, that's the the rolling 12 there. This month alone, we're only at 1.6, so it's gotten even worse. I mean, listen, the inventory issues in Connecticut, lowest inventory out of all 50 states. There's it's unbelievable because in 09 and 10, all these the highest inventory markets, 2012 and 13 and 14 after Sandy, and to see where it is now and to see where the rest of the country, how much the rest of the country has come back. I mean, we'd be at national inventory levels of pre-pandemic if the Northeast wasn't holding the rest of the country back. These are crazy numbers, basically, non-existent on inventory. So, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's just so many buyers out there, and that's why there's no inventory. We have the lowest sales since the GFC. We have the lowest sales since the worst market in Connecticut's history in 2012. Okay, so I get it. There's not a lot of options to buy, but when there's not a lot of options, it does make the buyer pool seem like it's huge, right? And I mean, there's way more buyers than sellers for sure. We're experiencing that. But it's not that, transactions are one of the lowest we've seen. I mean, the lowest we've seen in 15 years on transactions. So, transactions in the month they will go up here every month. They did move up in March. We had on single family just shy of 1,500 single family homes. Last March, we had over 1,600. So we're down 7.4%. Inventory has gotten even tighter. I couldn't believe it could get tighter. But 100 less transactions in the month of March, this March than you did last March. So just shy of 1,500. To put that in perspective, we'll go back to 2019, pretty normal market, finally back to normal. You had 2,300 single family homes in the month of March, and you were sub 1,500 here. So not a lot of transactions, continuing to be the story. Pending home sales moved up in March to 1,900, just over 1,900, 1,941. Last March, we were above that at, just shy of 2,000, but similar number on the pending going back to, March of 2019. That number was 26, almost 2,650, 2,650 pending sales, single family. Not a lot of movement, very much a locked in market. New listings in March were at 2,300. Last March, that number was much better. It was 2,800. So, 15% down on new single family listings. In 2019, that number was 5,100 new listings just in the month of March. So even with, the prices where they're at and I'll say over the last 15 years, you can't point to a March where sellers have more leverage right now in terms of, the demand and supply, and they're not coming on the market. People are locked up, staying put, and a lot of that has to do with obviously the rates.
Less than 2,400 homes. I was trying to think of like how to conceptualize that number for the listeners out there, right? So there's a little over 3 million people in the state of Connecticut.
Yeah.
So if 1% of them,
3.65 million, yeah.
3.65. I mean, so what are we?
It's way less than 1%.
Yeah.
I mean, 1% of 3.6
is 30,000 or 36,000, right?
Yeah.
So just to think of 1% of all the population, if only 1% of all
It's
the
like
population,
1% of 1%. Yeah.
1,000 people looking for a single family home, there's only 2,388 for sale.
Wow.
Yeah.
0.5%, still even wouldn't get you that. I'd still be over 18,000 people looking for
2,000.
a home.
So 2,388 new listings came on because, how are we going to get more inventory? It's got to be new sellers saying, I'm going to list in March. So they went to the market in March. Homes for sale, we do have, a little bit more homes. We have 3,500 homes for sale. Okay. Last March, we had more than that. We had 4,200 homes for sale. So we're down 15% on homes for sale. You go to March of 2012, you had 22,000 homes for sale in that March. We have 3,500 today. So